our organization, and we are so grateful for that. But we know incorporating AI and agentic capabilities into your analytics specific for your industry is not easy. We hear that very often. But that's because there's a disconnect. There's a gap. AI today does not speak the industry language that you need to run your business. For example, retailers don't ask about LLMs. They ask about how to reduce shrink, how to improve forecasting demand. Financial services, they ask about preventing lost sales and how to detect fraud detection. And in healthcare, it's all about patient readmission. It's about capacity planning. They're not asking about agent orchestration. I could keep going, but the pattern here is a trend. As you can see here, AI is not able to speak the language of your industry. And we're forcing it, and it's asking business users to translate the AI capabilities to the technology that you need, and that's backwards. We need to build AI to speak the language that your business needs, that your industry needs. And that's why we're here today to share with you. We're bringing together the power of agentic analytics with deep experience of industry expertise. And it's not bolted on, it's built into the foundation, and that's a key nuance that you all should be aware of. So that when AI does speak the language, it's able to understand your business context. And we are seeing early signals with our customers with real business results who are already incorporating that. For example, a multinational food and beverage company. They wanted to improve their product availability. And what they did with us, they were able to see 24% higher order fill rate. A travel services company, they wanted to improve their service levels with their more than 800 agents, and they were able to see 50% improvement. And these are just a couple examples of where we're seeing real results with our business leaders. And that's why today I am so excited, because you see the results, you're seeing some of the outcome, and now we're packaging it all for you. I'd like to introduce Spotter for Industries, purpose-built experiences. Thank you. Purpose-built experiences designed for the way your industry works. Each one is designed from the ground up to understand your logic, your priorities, the way the language, the workflows work for you. And that's why we're so excited to share this with you. And how does this work? Well, we've combined strong analytics with the foundation of deep industry context. Let's start with Spotter. This is your most trusted agent. It's actually your partner, your analyst. It has deep reasoning, deep perception that works alongside of you. We also have Spotter Viz, your dashboarding agent. It can instantly build and visualize dashboards for you, alongside of you, with you. And all of this is built on a foundation of a semantic layer that's built for the agentic era, and that's Spotter Semantics. It's industry unique, and we'd love to talk to you about that and show you that in action in a moment. And lastly, Spotter Connectors. This is Spotter that can understand your business system across your entire system, across your entire organization. Because we know data doesn't live in one spot. You have applications from CRM, marketing automation tools, messaging apps, all over, everywhere. And we know that data cannot just live in one place, and we know that, we know that Spotter Connectors will allow you to ask a question with Spotter, and it's able to draw the business context across all of the business apps. So I don't want to keep standing on stage. I want to put this in action in real life. I want to bring up Nishant Taneja to put the demo in real life and showcase how we can do our first industry. So please welcome Nishant.
Excellent. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Very exciting day for us at ThoughtSpot, introducing Spotter for Industries. I'm really happy to be here on stage. Thank you, Micheline, to talk about a few industries along with my colleagues. And first up, we want to introduce Spotter for Financial Services. Now, for those of you who are joining us today in the industry, you know that the decisions for you are really high stakes. right? You have to carry regulatory consequences. There's client trust challenges. There's competitive risk. And a lot of this comes with understanding of the space and getting the right answers. So leading to things, so you want to avoid things like compliance violations, undetected fraud, and missed market moves. So Spotter for Financial Services really solves this, and we'll see this in action in just a minute here. So it's going to help you identify customer needs and next best offers. It's going to help you detect fraud patterns before losses actually escalate for you. You can balance portfolio risk versus reward across your investment goals. You can optimize marketing spend across customer channels and proactively address customer churn risk before actually accounts close. So the best way to understand this that I know of is to actually show you in action. So we're going to move over to a demo of Spotter for Financial Services. All right, so thank you everyone again for joining this. Let me set the stage first for Spotter for Financial Services. So I am the head of a mid-sized consumer bank, North Atlas Bank, and I'm going to put my marketing glasses here because I am the head of marketing. And my job here is to identify opportunities to grow wallet share across our existing customer base. And my job is to introduce strategies and develop new campaigns so the marketing teams can go execute on them. We know, and for those of you joining us today in financial services, you know that the market and our industry is highly competitive. Staying relevant is getting harder than ever. And when you look at neobanks that are launching competitive products day in, day out, when you look at fintechs offering greater yields, it's getting harder for us as a bank to drive customer loyalty. And frankly, customer loyalty these days is almost non-existent. So I want to ensure that we have plans that are really sound in our strategy, that they're grounded, the insights are grounded in the reality of our business and our industry and business data. And that normally for me would mean that I would be working with my data analyst teams for weeks and weeks, trying to understand our complex data across customer and product portfolio. And that would take a lot of cycles. However, today I'm really lucky because I have with me Spotter, my AI data analyst agent, to help me with insights for financial services. So we will begin with asking Spotter my first question, which is going to be, help me understand the customer segments that I have and their financial profile and product holdings. And I want you to notice what's happening here. We have a business question that I ask Spotter. There's obviously no SQL. There's no dashboard configuration. I'm not having to do any kind of data request. Spotter is now going in and doing some deep reasoning, leveraging its deep analytical skills, and looking across multiple data sets. You can see the data set down here. And it's actually going in simultaneously and is going to come back to build a comprehensive analysis for me. And it's now really going in and working on the answer generation. I can look at the details here. It is all the transparency across what it's actually doing. This is what sets Spotter apart from a lot of the standard BI tools that have bolt-on AI capabilities and general purpose agents that we're all used to using every day. So Spotter actually understands what I'm trying to accomplish and not just what I'm typing in the chat. So now Spotter is actually going in and starting to look at uncovering my data, my customer data, the product data sets. It's analyzing a lot of the multiple dimensions across and trying to come back with a recommendation around the opportunities. And one of the things Micheline mentioned earlier is Spotter semantics. So thanks to Spotter semantics, which is our agentic semantic layer, Spotter can quickly understand our financial services industry language and our bank's business context and logic, and come back and present to me an executive summary. So there we have it. It took about 48 seconds. I didn't even have a sip of a cup of coffee. And it's been able to give me a full segmentation analysis, both qualitative insights and supported by quantitative data. So let's review this. So we have here, I can see that Spotter has broken down the data across financial profile by age group. It already understood that based on my question. It went in and also started to analyze, provide some insights here, and also started to analyze the product penetration to deeply understand the product and customer gaps. You can see here that we have search tokens, which are really advanced, and they help me feel confident in that the data is accurate and that the insights that Spotter is providing me are trustworthy. And obviously, there's a lot of nice visualizations that you'll see here shortly. I can switch to the visualization if I'd like to have that view. So with this deep understanding, it has gone in and given me 3 recommendations around 3 opportunities, which are cross-sell opportunities. So this is fantastic. This is what I was looking for. It has mapped it to the right customer segment. So I can see here, Spotter is telling me that the pre-retirees, 45 to 64, have meaningful assets, and they are IRA catch-up contribution eligible. That's meaningful insight for me, because now I want to be able to use that as the first, the highest priority recommendation to then go in and deploy the campaign. Spotter also has given me some other recommendations, which is fantastic. So using this recommendation that I now have from Spotter, I want Spotter to now help me prioritize the revenue opportunity, and I want it to come back to me with a hypothesis of leveraging, of deploying $10 million in investment, and what a campaign would look like and what would be the ROI around the campaign. So I've really asked it a lot. It has to now go in and really strategize. So Spotter is no longer my just AI data analyst. It's now my strategy analyst. Now, typically, this would be something I would use a strategy consultant for and pay thousands of dollars for. I'm not having to do that because I have Spotter. It's now going beyond Q&A, and it's actually modeling revenue upside across the cross-sell opportunities that it provided to me in the previous query. So we can see Spotter here again, reasoning, doing its deep analysis, and looking at reasoning here. And after the reasoning, we will see it's going to go into the industry metrics and look at things that are important for us in the industry, like assets under management and deposit flows. That's the context that I need Spotter to look at. So what I really love about this moment is that we're going from analysis to strategy, and it's a single question, right? Again, this would be something that would take thousands of dollars, a lot of time spent, but I'm able to do that with just one prompt. So Spotter is maintaining the full context of the conversation that it already found. It's now building on the analysis. It's running code. So no re-explaining for me to do, no starting over. This will all be available in just a few seconds here. Now, it typically does this. As you can see, it's looking at target market profile. It's a lot of analysis around looking at our IRA balances. And it's again, doing a lot of deep thinking. That's what Spotter does best. All right, so let's look at what the results would be for this query that I had. So I can see now that pre-retirees, IRA opportunity rises right to the top, right? So I can see that Spotter is telling me not all pre-retirees are equal. We have in the ages of 45 to 54 that represent the largest long-term opportunity potential. It also breaks down 55 to 64. I didn't ask it to do that. It's actually going in and understanding the question and providing to me the sense of urgency around this segment, because this is closer to retirement, they're catch-up contribution eligible, and higher projected balances. Now let's go see what Spotter actually recommends. It's going in and telling me that the number one priority here is, again, pre-retirees. This is a crown jewel. So this is really the aha moment for Spotter. This is what is super valuable for me, because most AI tools will describe a pattern. Spotter is actually telling me where to act first. It's giving me the priority. And this is shared with me across the investment allocations here. So I can see now, okay, how do I take the $10 million budget and invest it across the different opportunities that exist? Now I have confidence in the strategy and the budget allocation. And now that I do have that, I want to validate this against customer signals. So the next thing I'm going to ask Spotter to do is I'm going to ask it to all right. This is, here it is. This is the analysis that's coming up. So I'm going to ask Spotter to leverage our connectors and go in and connect with Slack, right? So Slack is one of our connectors. I want Spotter to connect with Slack and get all the unstructured data. Spotter is going in and pulling all of the insights that we saw earlier. Again, this is a matter of a few seconds. Normally, this would take a lot of time. So let's go in and do that now on the prompt. Spotter is now going to go in and effortlessly access Slack via connectors. Now, connectors, we have several. You can see here available. And this is accessing all the unstructured data that exists. This is business conversation that's sitting in your systems of record. This is where Spotter really shines because it's separating itself from other AI tools. It's not just looking at where data is residing in data warehouse. It's going into where business conversations happen. So all of these connectors are available. And whether it's CRM, support systems, industry applications, collaboration tools like Slack, which we use. So no switching tools. It's a full picture. And here we go. We have Spotter going in and accessing the voice of the customer, right? So I didn't provide any other intelligence or provide any other context. It went into Slack and got the right insight, automatically connecting to the channels within Slack. So it's giving me key findings here. So this is where I'm finding that a lot of the customer teams and planning teams are having conversations about Roth IRA, about what some of the concerns and feedback are from customers. Very meaningful intel for me to validate the strategy. Now I'd like to show you where this actually exists in Slack. You can see here that Spotter went into Slack and looked at all the channels that are available and pulled from these channels on customer service insights, retirement planning, branch customer feedback, and did that automatically to provide to me these insights. So the bottom line here that I'm seeing is that it's a strong opportunity, right? It's confirming we have had many wins. I can see assets under management. It's an urgent one. And that's the confidence I need to move from the strategy that we had that Spotter provided to me to validation around customer and moving into action. So let's go into, now I want Spotter to take everything that it's delivered to me and move it into an actual action plan for me as a marketing team that we can go execute on. So this is, again, a step that most AI tools are not able to get to because typically they only provide insight, and insight without action, as we know, is just a nice slide. So Spotter is actually closing that loop, moving from question to analysis, from strategy to execution, without ever leaving the conversation. So while Spotter is doing that, I'd like to show you, again, through connectors, we have Spotter going in and actually developing a full campaign. So it's uncovering and operationalizing everything directly in Asana. Asana is our campaign management system for our teams. It has put the entire plan in phases. It has put priorities around it. It has actually gone in and actually done detailed planning and put some tasks and timelines across all the team members. So instead of me going in and talking to the team to provide a recommendation, Spotter has actually populated all of this. This didn't exist before. This has existed right after I gave Spotter the instruction to go do that. So there we have it. This is the campaign plan. Again, I can view it in Spotter. We saw it in Asana. It was nicely laid out. It's available to me here in Spotter. And now I have a full action plan that I can go execute on for this strategy. So as you saw, we moved from discovery to recommendation. We moved from validation to execution planning. And Spotter helped me do that, go from data to decisions in just 10 minutes. That's Spotter for financial services. So now we have Spotter not just for financial services. We're really excited to share for many other industries, and we have many other use cases. Next, I'd like to talk to you about Spotter for tech and software. So this is where a lot of companies, many of you who are joining us today in tech and software, you have an opportunity to go embed Spotter in any of your B2B products. So this is going to help you supercharge the roadmap. It's going to bring your product teams a core differentiator within your portfolio. It can help you drive customer adoption. It can help you manage churn, accelerate a lot of the revenue that you have for your business, and redefine what modern analytics means for your end users. So with that, I'd like to also move into introducing our next speaker, who is Ivan Seo, who is a Senior Director of Product Marketing. And he's going to go into industry use cases and also showcase our amazing Spotter Viz, which is our visualization. Ivan, please join us on stage.
Thanks so much, Nishant. So some amazing demos and use cases from Nishant around financial services and just looking at the way it's pushing data into Asana and gathering data from Slack. It's just amazing. Now, I want to move on to the next one, which is supply chain. Next slide, please. So you've seen finance leaders dealing with regulations. You've seen them deal with competition. And retail leaders are dealing with velocity and margins. So supply chain leaders, we have it easy, don't we? No, we don't. So you're only dealing with trying to continuously balance the world of supply and demand. You're trying to optimize logistics in a world where things are happening beyond your control. The weather, geopolitical events, tariffs, rising prices, and more. So let me show you how Spotter can help you identify potential disruptions early and keep your supply chain agile and robust. Let's take a look. Sorry, as we get the person trying to connect my mobile app to the screen, but maybe I'll just talk through very quickly on the scenario that we're setting here. So I am supply chain leader of a national retailer, and my job really is to protect our daily service levels. Not only move product, but make sure that our logistic networks doesn't fail in the sense that the world is throwing a lot at it, right? So as we talked about before, we seem to be having a lot of disruptions. And the question really isn't about how do we avoid the disruptions. It's about how do we respond to it when it hits our business. So I'm going to show you some agentic AI that's not only going to take the risk signals and move us to a decision, but it's going to allow me to operationalize this entire view for my team so that we can move together as one. So come jump on this scenario with me where I'm on a train. And do I take out my laptop to kind of look at my KPIs and metrics in a crowded train? No. I have ThoughtSpot mobile app in front of me, and this is something that I look at every day. I call it like a pre-game before I go into the office, right? And I can go into my app, I can interact with the live boards that we have over here and drill into our metrics and then immediately find out what's happening. So, I've got a huge promotion for spring sneaker sales, awesome. But another thing that I constantly watch is my watch list. These are the KPI metrics that I have in front of me that matter the most to me. So on-time shipment rates, capacity utilizations, orders received. And just looking at this every day, I can see that my OTR, on-time rate, is nearly at 76%. That's not great. That's a problem for me. And I need to go solve this now. So as I walk into the office and I have the opportunity to switch over to my desktop, then this is a huge question for me to answer today. And I go, well, do I talk to my supply chain, data and analytics team? I know they're backlogged and they might not respond to me in 2 or maybe 3 days. So what do? I need to do something today. I need to execute a strategy ASAP. So I have Spotter for supply chain for me. So what I do is I simply ask, how can I improve our OTR, our on-time shipment rate, from 76% to 95%? That's our goal for the Northeast region without increasing planned headcount. And I'm actually going to throw it a big, hairy problem at it. I'm going to ask it to give me a 3-step action plan with the cost impact of each option and to identify the root cause. So you've seen from Nishant's demo how it creates a multi-step reasoning plan and is doing the same thing for the supply chain use case now. I can always expand this to kind of look into it. And I want to point out some very cool things happening here. Note, I did not tell it what data model to look at. I didn't tell it what columns to look at. It automatically found it, gathered the right data for me, and then went away and created a step-by-step analysis, just like an analyst would, to find the right strategy for me. So then it goes and does it, and at any time, and you're seeing this from Nishan's demo, you can expand any of these answers to look into the charts and analysis that is done. Consider this like your cited content to make sure that everything is governed. And in about 36 seconds, I now have this. So I have the root cause analysis of what's happening behind my poor OTR. And that really is the FedEx performance in the Northeast. If I look into here, my total delay rate is astronomical compared to everyone else. And if I keep going on, then you can see that there is a huge cost impact that's impacting backlogs orders, and now I need to go into an action plan. So what is the action plan? Well, step one, we need to maybe rebalance our carrier mix, right? Shift some volume away from FedEx into better performing carriers. And then go, why do we do that? Well, that tells me here, and it actually tells me the timeline to execute this as well. And if I keep going to step two, then you can even go, maybe we should enforce some SLAs and implement a carrier scorecard, right? And then in step three, it then identifies the distribution center, which is the one that's most backlogged at Edison, and maybe we should optimize that center over there. So here it kind of tells me that Edison is the only DC serving the Northeast. Maybe we should make it more efficient in terms of the pickup times and the staging processes, and to focus on label accuracy and staging location. So the little optimizations that could help add more percentage points to my OTR. And then if we do all of this, then Spotter forecasts that we could actually improve our target OTR to 95% if we implement these three actions. And at the end, it even identifies a quick win priority for me. So this is great, and I think that's amazing, because if I were to give this to an analyst, it would take maybe a day or two to come up with this. So all of this done in a matter of minutes. Now, I want to operationalize this with my team, because now that I know what's happening and the root causes and the plan, I need to execute this with my team and make sure they're all on the same page. So we can do this with a supply chain dashboard over here. And this is something that we've built that kind of tracks all of our metrics together. Let me just refresh this very quickly. You can see the data is all in real time. All right, and they've got charts tracking from capacity on time performance to carrier shipments. You can see FedEx is struggling a little bit over there. And this allows us to have almost like a control tower view into my supply chain business. Now, do I go and create another ticket to operationalize what Spotter just told me about FedEx and the Edison DC? No, that's exactly what SpotterViz is for. So SpotterViz is our dashboarding agent that allows me to operationalize this through an agentic experience. So what I mean by that is I can go prompt it. And just like Spotter, it's connected to our data models, it's connected to our metadata, and it's connected to our Spotter semantic layer as well. So it knows all of the business terminology, the ontology, the metadata that allows it to immediately build things without me prompting it and telling it, this is what my business is about. So it goes and creates, and very quickly, what I've asked of SpotterViz is to create me a fulfillment risk dashboard with 4 KPIs, which are the most important that Spotter's just told me to focus on. And usually creates a best fit chart for everything that I asked for, but I specifically asked that I want a donut chart for this particular KPI, and I want a heat map for carrier delay as I look at the performance day by day. So SpotterViz goes and does that, searches through the data, understands what's asked of it, and it starts generating these answers. So it's actually doing it, and I can tap into each of these things to really find out at the granular level, what search tokens are you using? What are you actually grabbing from my data? I don't need to wonder, it's there. So now it gathers all the answers, it updates my live board, and it's going to basically create a new tab for faster analysis as well. Now, one thing I want to call out upon is at the bottom here, SpotterViz actually knows that I have an existing dashboard tab with a specific structure and a specific layout. So it's copied that same layout and styling to make sure that I don't need to add more actions for my team to do it if I wanted to. So let's go over to this tab over here. And it's automatically operationalized what Spotter just told me into a new dashboard tab. So new KPIs, new charts, operationalized, ready to go. Isn't it amazing? So, and this is what we mean by supply chain moving at a speed that can meet the need that's happening in the world. And I definitely need to share this in my team, right? This is P0 for us over the next few weeks as we implement that 3-step action plan. And my VP definitely needs to be informed about this as well. So before I go ahead and do that, I would like to maybe ask SpotterViz to do one more thing. Maybe add some themes, right? Generate some chart descriptions. I understand this really well, but we probably need to add some extra descriptions before we share it out widely with executives. And I also maybe want to generate an executive summary as well. So then Spotter goes and does that. It goes and basically looks at all the visualizations on this particular dashboard tab, updates the styling a little bit, and then it updates the chart titles within each answer. As you can see, that's 8, and it's generating now a note tile. So our live boards have note tiles where we can insert dynamic text into this particular supply chain, and it's going to go do it. And maybe while it does it, I'll take a sip of my coffee over here, fully playing into my supply chain leader mode as I watch other people work for me. And then it updates the live board eventually and validates and publishes that. So voila, automatically done for me in just a few minutes. So just to recap, in 10 minutes, I have moved from a risk signal on my mobile device. I've seen the root causes from Spotter and the action plan, and I've operationalized that for my entire team at SpotterViz, so they were all on the same page and handling this evolving situation together. So Spotter, over here, Spotter is the analytics agent that allows all of you to answer any sort of data question within supply chain. It provides a grounded, data-backed action plan, and with SpotterViz, operationalizing that with all your dashboarding and visualization needs. Together, we move you from data to decisions in a matter of minutes, in the time it takes you to submit a Jira ticket. And that is Spotter and SpotterViz for supply chain. I did forget that I do need to pass to one more particular industry, so apologies for that. So we do also have Spotter and retail for CPG as well, and it really is going to help you now, moving on from supply chain, help you improve your merchandising, reduce stockouts, and optimize your promotions. But of course, it's always better to hear it from a real customer doing it right now. So let's hear from a real customer using a ThoughtSpot. For all of their retail analytics, I'm going to welcome Alex Homan, a data analytics leader from Huel, and our very own Jane Smith, Chief Field Data and AI Officer. Jane, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, and welcome, Alex. So firstly, let me introduce you to Alex, who is our favorite hooligan, I believe, as you're known. Alex, come and say hi to us.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Jane. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's great to be here.
So Huel is a company that probably doesn't need a lot of introduction. Certainly many of us in ThoughtSpot survive off the Huel protein bars. But just give us a little bit. What are Huel? What do you do?
Every Huel meal basically has a balance of 26 essential vitamins and minerals. It's kind of like the complete meal in one sitting, and it's obviously designed to be convenient, good for people and the planet.
Tell us a little bit more about you, about your role.
So I'm the lead data analyst here at Huel. I've been here for over 5 years now. So I've seen a lot of change at Huel, both within the team and just generally in the company. But yeah, one key thing that I was obviously involved in was helping roll out ThoughtSpot in 2022, and then all the changes that have happened within the team since then.
Tell us some of the challenges that the data team had when you joined, and why ThoughtSpot helped you with those.
Yes, I would say that a lot of the things that we were doing pre-ThoughtSpot was we were doing quite a lot of dashboard maintenance. Probably we were handling a lot of frequently quite small stakeholder tickets as well. as well, another thing with all of those tickets that we were getting, it was like we were a bit of a bottleneck to the other teams to just get their analysis through. And obviously, if they just wanted quite a menial, small change to a dashboard, even though that itself could be quite a quick thing to do, because of the vast amount of tickets that we'd have on that, it meant that it might take them a while to just get quite a small change.
What does it mean in your world in retail when things are time consuming, when they do take a long time?
Obviously, you want to be able to be reactive to those smaller tickets and help everyone understand how we're trading week on week, but then we also don't want to sacrifice those bigger questions that we were dealing with. So I think it meant generally we were just a bit slower to react to trading, and it gave us less time to focus on some of the bigger questions, which would really help drive the company forward and give us that strategic view.
So how do the Huel team use ThoughtSpot now?
Yeah, so I guess we're lucky at Huel, like we have a very strong data-driven culture. A lot of people use data at Huel. We have like 60% of our Huel employees use ThoughtSpot, that includes people in our MK site working on the warehouse. So like that, we wouldn't necessarily expect them to use it all. So like our adoption rate's really high. We're very thankful for that, and that's because basically we have a use case for pretty much every team to use ThoughtSpot, and they all have their own reasons why they might use it. And then also the great thing is that we're very transparent as a company internally. So if you work in a particular team, it doesn't mean that you're just going to be siloed to the data that your team can see. There might be some value in you being able to see our general trading data or our performance marketing or our complaints data, and you can access all of that. It's not just necessarily just being able to see one thing. Our performance marketing, probably our biggest, if not one of our biggest adopters of ThoughtSpot. They practically live on ThoughtSpot, making sure that our campaigns are like running as they should be, and like we have incredibly granular data that they can dig into in ThoughtSpot and spend like vast amounts of time basically just being able to get our performance marketing as best as it can be. And then obviously a more recent one, an example is our sales team, as I mentioned, getting stock on shelves. Basically, an example of that is we have our vending machines. You might have seen them like in airports, train stations. So we have data on them, which ones are functioning, which ones are not functioning, how we're basically making sure that they have the right levels of stock in them, and then beyond that, like how well they're actually performing. So we can see where there's opportunity to particularly, like let's say that we're doing well in airports, which airports are doing well, where can we basically expand.
I love to hear this, Alex, because when you talked about how everyone can access data from across the company, not just their own domains, that really rewards curiosity. It rewards people working with data. And 60% adoption it's incredibly high. It's much higher than the average. So this all sounds great to me. I want to work at Huel. Before we start setting me up with a Huel email address, let's could you walk me through maybe, if something comes to mind, something specific that ThoughtSpot revealed to you, which you probably wouldn't have with traditional, it would have been buried had you had more traditional reporting?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I think one of my favorite success stories at Huel is the operations, like supply chain team. Basically, when I joined, a lot of their data was spreadsheet heavy, which obviously was very manual, very cumbersome. Basically made it hard to like generate levels of insight. It was more there for like the very top level reporting and keeping our production in tow, basically, but not necessarily being able to be that reactive to how, if things were if we're in a tight scenario, we needed to turn things around quickly, it wouldn't really let us do that because it's all across tens of spreadsheets, obviously very big ones, very big loading times sometimes, which is quite painful over people's shoulders. So a nice example I like to think about from that one. So we basically moved what was their availability outlook. So we had our new COO come in a few years ago, Reuven. He was wanting to bring that new data-driven approach. He was originally asking his team, like, do we have an availability metric to see how available our product is to our customers? We wanted to start with just on our website, to which we didn't. And what happened was we started, one person in the supply chain was spending a few hours every week, basically just doing a manual report to get our availability, which was obviously then a day late, but also just for that week. It was like quite a large compiled view of that, not too granular. Basically, what we were able to do is move that into ThoughtSpot and basically give a live view of what's available on the site, what isn't. But more importantly, sort of like flag what's the most important thing to be in stock, so that if something does go out of stock or something we think might come out of stock soon, where we can prioritize that production. So, as a recent example, a production planner can see it's flagged to them something's going to potentially go out of stock in X days because we did well in a performance marketing campaign that drove up the sales of that product more than we thought it would. Therefore, we need to bring forward production, move raw materials from what was going to go into the production of one product into a different one. And then that basically meant that we were able to circumvent that issue and keep our key product in stock.
Slightly switch gears, Alex. So if we think about the new role of data analysts, self-serve is something that has changed analytics teams. It is changing them. How have things evolved for your data team?
Yeah, so I think obviously I said before we were getting quite a few small, frequent stakeholder tickets, and we didn't know really where to prioritize our time, or if we did, it was very much a trade-off between big tickets, smaller tickets. So I think now, so I was looking at this just yesterday. So we've seen about a 50% reduction, 50 to 60% reduction in our stakeholder tickets, and what that's generally meant is those sort of like smaller tickets, and then anything analytically sort of easier to intermediate level analytics was basically more or less covered by ThoughtSpot, by being able to train people up. So that's basically freed up a lot of our time to work on some of the challenging business problems, and it allowed the team to get really involved in the strategy of the business and work with senior members within the company to really help them, whilst being able to essentially empower a lot of our business users to use ThoughtSpot to their own capabilities. Basically, obviously, how we do that more is that means we have spent time, which to be honest I really enjoy, training a lot of new people at Huel, and people who have been here a while, just keeping them on track with the new updates on ThoughtSpot and just making sure that they're able to use it to its best ability. Because then obviously once they are data literate, that means that we have hundreds of data analysts rather than just 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like your team have almost become consultants into the business, and you've scaled analysts without scaling analysts, which is very cool. But I want to just dive a little deeper. So that's clear how your team have changed and their roles changed. How about you? What's changed for you?
We all know that the tech world's changing a lot at the moment with AI. We're able to invest time into learning AI, making sure that we're sort of figureheads in our company for understanding it, being able to use it to answer data questions, and obviously just being from a more technical area, just being able to help move that shift in the company to be AI driven. We've been doing that, or I've been doing that specifically using some building certain AI data products. So our CTO Ollie has basically been encouraging me to build as many data products as we can that do specific roles that might be very niche to us at Huel. One interesting one that we're working on at the moment, and Ollie's talked about a lot on LinkedIn, if you want to go and follow him on there and have a look at what he's talking about. But something called the trading supercomputer. Basically, we are trying to build something that sort of autonomously uses multiple agents to work out where we might be seeing certain patterns or certain shifts, in making recommendations to our senior members about how we can potentially move money around, or make strategic changes so that we can drive more revenue, basically. So some really interesting projects going on.
What's your number one piece of advice based on the journey you've been on, the changes you've driven, the work you've overseen?
So I think just investing that time in training individuals, getting them up to speed, especially if there's a new BI tool, just really trying to drive that culture. Whether that's we do a lot of team focus sessions or general onboarding sessions just to get people up to speed. I think that's that's so useful to be able to do. And obviously we've had ThoughtSpot help us with that over the years to make sure that that's like the best training we can get. So yeah, I think that's just like upfront. Essentially, it's just such a good way to get like a long-term gain from like short-term, just like spending that time, investing that time into other people.
Good stuff, into the fabric of your culture. You've shared so much with us. Thank you so much. I'm going to wrap us up for today. It was brilliant speaking to you.
Thank you very much.
Alex, thank you so much for being a trusted customer and partner along the journey. Congratulations, 60% adoption rate. That's really fantastic. I love how progressive you and the entire team have been in terms of adoption and progressing in the AI space. But also a thank you to being part of our community. There's several folks on your team and extended Huel organization that have joined our community where they're sharing their stories, they're engaging with our product teams as well as our champions. So I hope all of you are able to join our ThoughtSpot community, and you can find that out online. So what you saw today was just the beginning. We only showed you a few use cases in a few industries, but there's so many more. Spotter is available for all industries. So we just gave you a taste, and we hope that you're able to see how companies are adopting and unlocking the full power of their data. And so as we wrap up, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for staying with us. I know there's a lot of things that you can be doing, but to be part of this journey is really important to us, and we thank you. And we want to encourage you to scan the QR code and check out the demo. You can do a one-on-one demo, speak with our experts, speak with our team. We're here and available for you at all times. So till next time, thank you and have a great day.
switch.